Welcome back. During a lifetime of experience and study, Thomas Sowell has deftly let the air out of many a politically correct bubble, but not without offering solutions along the way. Let me read a couple more of things you've written. The businesses have done more to reduce poverty than all the intellectuals combined.
Oh, no question about it. They create, the only thing that will reduce poverty is wealth. And the people who create the wealth reduce the poverty.
And what do intellectuals create?
Confusion.
Though Tom Sowell is certainly an intellectual himself, he spent a lifetime cutting through that confusion by subjecting popular policies and ideas to the harsh light of day. If you had to pick out policies or things in America that irritate you the most, what would be on your list?
Oh, environmentalism.
Why?
I just wish there was some way to add up all the incredible costs that are run up in order to appease a small group of noisy, self-righteous people.
We want to be asthma free. Shut it down, PG&E.
They're constantly trying to preserve open space, do this or that, much of which is causing havoc to low-income people.
In what way?
They're driving the housing prices out of sight. East Palo Alto, which used to be a predominantly black community, is no longer predominantly black. Blacks can't afford to live there anymore.
What's number two?
Oh, heavens, I guess the people who are playing the race card at every turn, because the people who are hurt most by that are the blacks themselves. You know, if years ago when I was giving a talk at Marquette, a young black man got up and he said, "I'm about to graduate from Marquette University, but what hope is there for me?" And I said, there's about twice as much hope as there was for your parents and 10 times what there was for your grandparents. But he has been convinced that he can't make it.
Married, with a grown son of his own who didn't talk until he was nearly 4 years old, Thomas Sowell knows the importance of not giving up.
We knew there was going to be barriers. We would just keep going over them, through them, around them, or whatever. But now you've raised a whole generation of people who think it's absolutely hopeless.
Who's telling him that?
Oh, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, you can run through the whole list of them.
Mm-hmm. But it can't all be just blacks.
No, there are all sorts of whites who are saying the same thing, you know, that every statistical disparity is proof that there are these huge barriers out there.
Well, okay, so we have environmentalists number one and race card players too.
Oh, the education establishment, because if you don't get a decent education nowadays, you may as well pack it in. You're lost. People think that they're doing black kids a favor when they pass them along without holding them to the same standards. That kid is going to pay the rest of his life for your apparent generosity. I mean, 40 years from now, he won't be able to get a job that he otherwise would have been qualified for if you had insisted that he learn what he's supposed to learn.
Well, let me turn this idea on its head and say, if there were Tom Sowell's America, what would it look like?
Well, first of all, an awful lot of liberals would be getting on the boat, getting out of here. You would have the 14th Amendment applied as is written, namely that everybody is to be treated alike. You would not have huge numbers of government programs to insulate people from the consequences of their own decisions. I mean, nobody forces anybody to live in Florida in the path of known hurricanes, and you count on it like clockwork year after year. You're going to locate down there and expect the taxpayers to rebuild when the hurricane comes through and destroys your house. That kind of stuff would have to go.
Are you pessimistic about America?
Yes, I'm pessimistic about the future. Sometimes I tell younger people I'm glad I'm as old as I am because I'm not going to see how this is all going to end.
What are you pessimistic about in particular?
I'm pessimistic about the decline of values, because that's what's inside people. And if that's not there, the rest of it is not going to matter.
Which values in particular?
Honesty is one that you don't see a lot of. The whole attitude that you're entitled. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, what does an entitlement and a right mean? It means that other people are bound to provide you with what you don't provide for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why are other people bound to do something for you that you're not going to do for yourself?
Throughout a lifetime of academic and literary achievement, Thomas Sowell has consistently provided for himself, even if that meant rejecting the easier path provided by government programs and policy.
He is just a huge believer in the ability of individuals to do far better for themselves than laying around waiting for bureaucracy to help them.
Today in his mid-70s, that belief is as strong as ever. You can find it in every book and column that he writes. It's a belief born of personal experience in a time in American history that will never come again.
There really won't be another one like him, and that's a shame. Wish there could be more Thomas Sowells.
I read my first Tom Sowell book 20 years ago. It was scintillating. I was floored by his fearless conclusions, based always on evidence, never on political prejudice. By any reckoning, Sowell is America's greatest public intellectual. He is a man I wanted to meet, a man I wanted all America to meet and question and listen to. Now I have, and so have you. For Fox News, I'm Fred Barnes. Good night.